All praises to the Most High. Most cry and wonder why it's all strife. Grew in the hood just to dodge cops. That feeling's all too familiar, like the slave patrol night watch. They say get out, but that's a tight box. We grew up in a sunken place. The brain is tight locked. The deep sleeps in Isaiah Ock. Judah Special, we drown sorrows in Harlem Nights and Red Fox. Police brutality's the norm to us. They harm us and misinform with the plan of all the Torah. Well, fam, you gotta read the Torah. Israelites are ancestors, Jerusalem full of posers. What they did to Joseph, look a little closer. Brother turn an enemy and hit you with the poker. Oppressors, they opposers, back of the bus rosa. Distractions in the act of attacks to hide motives, I told you. All praises to the Most High. It's our story, it's our story. Read the book and it won't lie. For his glory, for his glory. Yo, it's a shame. Losing hope to gain normality, cause our reality is the Mortal Kombat fatalities, no principalities, and declining of all morality. But in the vanity, there's a prophecy still happening. On the internet, the enemies still cackling, the blind leading the blind, right into the reckoning. But ain't no glory in forming weapons against your brethren, or we gon' come together or perish because of foolishness. Sell drugs, pop slugs, that's pretty damaging. It helps them, not us, our own worst enemy. Divided in the hood, oppressed, we got no synergy. Work, then retire and die. We got no energy, but this is just a sample of dirt. In God's words, we are synonymous. Proverbs and bywords. We should focus on the law and the glory of His word, cause the teachers and the doctrines of men is absurd. All praises to the Most High. It's our story. It's our story. Yeah. Read the book and it won't lie. For his glory, for his glory, yeah. Yo, Israel. It's just part one, man. Part two on the way. Check it out. Stay behind for this one.
Shalom, y'all. Shalom. Shalom. We're going to be getting started here soon. As you can see, the title of the lesson is Perfection and Grace. Definitely be a good lesson. So.
Fire, fire, fire. Yeah. Fire in my soul. So much fire. Fire, fire, fire. Yeah. Fire in my soul. Shut up in my bones. Fire, fire, fire. Fire in my soul. The promises to Zion, they put fire in my soul. What's this? Got y'all all turned up. Tell me what's going on. So many Israelites searching who they are and preparing to go home. Wait a minute, I thought this was home, but you speak of another place. We in the land of our enemies in captivity, but the gathering is sacred place. Fire, 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 fire. Yeah. Fire in my soul. So much fire. Fire, fire, fire. Yeah. Fire in my soul. Shut up in my bones. Fire, fire, fire. Fire in my soul. The promises to Zion, they put fire in my soul. Ever since I woke up and finding what belongs to me, I want my crown and my robe like the saints of old, my legacy and history. Wait a minute, I thought you was the children of slaves, but you're telling me you're kings and queens. We the chosen of Yah, the apple of his eye, the original royalty. Fire, 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 fire. Yeah. Fire in my soul. So much fire. Fire, fire, fire. Yeah. Fire in my soul. Shut up in my bones. Fire, fire, fire. Fire in my soul. The promises to Zion, they put fire in my soul.
Rebirth, fire in my soul, all flames in the members. Ruach, contained in our members. Ruach Jeremiah, cause it shut up in our bones. Can't sleep so deep like it came in syringes. Why? Cause our king is tremendous. Most high, serial contenders. Hallelujah, Abaya, Yahusha, Yahuda. Get them hands up in the sky.
Yeah. Fire, fire, fire. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fire in my soul. So much fire. Fire, fire, fire. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fire in my soul. Shut up in my bones.
Hey, shalom, y'all. Shalom, shalom. It's Ya'ak Michael Israel here. And we have a good lesson today. What I'm going to do is make sure I got everything all set up here. But as you can see, the title of the lesson is Perfection and Grace. And as you know, I'm definitely go all in on that. Shalom, Sister Hicks. Good morning to you also. Shalom, Watchers King. Yeah, I finally decided to do my seasonal wool harvest and cut my wool down. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, so the title of this lesson is Perfection and Grace. And what I'm going to go into in this lesson, and like I said, if y'all have any questions, definitely put them in or comments, whatever. Definitely get involved and interact, you know. I'm not going to rigidly stick to my lesson and everything. But the title of this teaching is Perfection and Grace. And basically, there's you don't really have to look too far. You go on social media, there's a lot of clashes going on there, all over the place, all types of different groups and all that. You know what I'm saying? And basically what it's showing, and it's just not on social media, it's just among Hebrews, among Christians, whatever. You see it all over the place. Just a lot of disagreements, a lot of issues, and it all points to one thing. And what it basically points to is people not trying to press towards the mark, not trying to seek perfection. And the Most High's grace is what gives you the opportunity to seek the perfection. So to constantly work to getting in alignment with what's in his word. Okay? So what we have to do is we have to constantly press forward. And there's a lot of things that sidetrack you and deceive you on basically self-examination, and you could call it biblical self-development. So shalom, brother Czar. Dermick, shalom, man. Good to see you in there. And like I said, I told everybody earlier, if y'all want to definitely interact. I'm not rigidly sticking to my lesson plan. So if you got something you want to put in there, definitely put it in there. Questions, whatever. But anyway, there's a lot of things to derail you from biblical self-development, getting yourself aligned with what this word says. And that's kind of what I'm going to go into. And the reason I put grace in there is his grace. That's the Most High's patience and long-suffering to allow you to perfect yourself. And I'm going to show you a lot of heavy deceptions. And I see it everywhere, all throughout the, social media is just an easy place to see it. But you see it, it's everywhere when you get among believers. Whether they be Christians or Hebrews, they're both deceived in different ways. And it blocks them from coming into truth in a lot of ways. So I got some notes. I got a bunch of scriptures that I'm going to just solidify what I'm saying and make it very obvious of what I'm talking about. So what I wrote here, I wrote, people think, let's see, like you, a lot of people see something's off. Okay, a lot, like what you find a lot. We'll start with Hebrews. What you find a lot is Hebrews, a lot of times, are quick to jump on certain doctrinal focuses as, okay, you off. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you don't think this, oh, you off, man. You ain't on it. So they're trying to narrow in on what's off about somebody. Hey, shalom, brother Eli. They're trying to narrow in on what's off about somebody or something or some group, and they can't figure out what it is. Well, they think they have it figured out what it is. Oh, because you want to do this, or because this is your belief, you off. You know, I can't rock with you, and this is what the problem is with that person and all that. And the same with folks in Christianity and everything like that. But at the core of it, like the way I build with people is through spiritual discernment. Like, I look at, is this person striving for perfection? Is this person being honest with themselves? Is this person willing to, is he humble enough to be honest with who he is and what's going on with him, whether it's good or bad? Him or her, women included, especially. You know what I'm saying? So is this person willing to practice self-analyzation? Was he willing to analyze himself or herself? And because the whole Bible is pointing at that. And it doesn't, you don't have to be a scholar. You don't even have to be a good reader to figure that out. It's in every single book in the Bible that you got to look at yourself and get your mind right. Everything's pointing to that. And and everything's a result of that. Us falling apart as a nation is due to us being hard-headed. You know what I'm saying? Shalom, shalom, brother Stephen. See you there. So, in striving for perfection, you got a lot of folks who they think their interpretation of striving for perfection might be, and it's a bunch of different stuff, is scripture memorization and biblical mastery, or doctrine, Bible doctrine, and keeping the Bible doctrine solid. You know what I'm saying? Or like with a lot of Christians, you see philosophy. That's their, well, the Christian deception is even more insidious, because like I came across this thing, they call it perfectionism. It's an article I got here. It says, here, I'll pull it up. It's an article that says, what does the Bible say about perfectionism? And it quickly tells you, to put it bluntly, perfectionism is a hoax. You cannot be perfect. Yet many well-meaning people continue to strive for this unattainable goal. So they're basically telling you, don't try to be perfect. Just, oh, you good the way you are. And you wicked, and you got all these personality flaws, and they tell you, oh, don't work on it. Don't put the work in. Hey, shalom, brother Manuel Ricardo over there on YouTube, coming from LA. All right, y'all listen to me over in LA. That's awesome. So perfection. So they're telling you, don't even try. And like I said, I got the scriptures up there where I'm gonna show you where being perfect and getting aligned with this word is just like raising a child up. The Most High gave us a family so we can have a living, working model of this spiritual walk and what he's talking about. You can see it firsthand. You know what it means to be a husband, and like some people will have a rebellious wife. And now you feel the pain the Most High felt and the frustration the Most High felt having a rebellious wife. Like what he had to go through dealing with all that. You raise a child up. You know the mercy and long suffering and love that it takes to truly walk in perfection and learn to walk. And I said, learn to walk. Well, how does your child learn to walk? At first, they're tripping and falling and crawling on their knees and all that, but they eventually learn to walk. And you're patient with them. You don't, every time they fall, you don't pull out a belt and whoop them and then say, I'm going to kill you if you don't learn how to walk, you know? And it's like people miss this basic understanding. Shalom, Aretha, from St. Lucie. Okay. Where's St. Lucie? Is St. Lucie the Virgin Islands, I think? Awesome. I think it is. Put it in there, whether that's the Virgin Islands. I think it is. But that's awesome, you know. But yeah. So, okay. Yeah, so it's striving, understand it's a process, striving to perfection. What a lot of Christianity teaches is instead of learning to walk, just lay there because we have grace. So we're going to just lay here on the ground because we got grace, and they're just crawling. So a lot of Christians are 14-year-old, 30-year-old people still crawling. They're crawling on their knees, and they're saying, I got grace. And they're looking crazy. Because when you start pushing their doctrine, they sound silly when you really put their doctrine tested according to the Bible. Hey, what's up, Deuce? Shalom, Deuce. So what we have to do is, hold on one second here. Okay. Okay. Stand by. I'm still learning. I see some of y'all. I see y'all watching over there on Periscope. I'm still learning how to use it. Just put a comment in there. Let me know if y'all there. I'm still learning how to use it. Okay. But anyway, so we have to do the work of attaining the perfection, okay? And what I'm going to show you is how the starting point is, okay, it is the Caribbean. That's awesome, Aretha. That's awesome. So folks watching from all over the place, LA. I know somebody was in France or something yesterday and some other place, you know, on the other side of the world. So that's awesome. Okay. So you're supposed to be striving for perfection, trying to attain the mark, constantly trying to improve and get yourself more aligned with what's in this word. And when I say more aligned to what's in this word, I'm not talking about I'm talking on a more, and I'm going to show you with the scriptures, but on a more basic level than, okay, I got to stop being bad. I got to stop doing this particular external thing or whatever, or I got to learn the Bible and memorize it more. Like people don't understand. What I'm going to show you is what the Bible is pointing you to is how to get your thoughts aligned right. Get your character. And like I said, the definition of character is your moral standard. And what's your moral standard? What is that? Is your identity, who you are. And what is your identity and who you are? It needs to be a biblical identity. And at the very core of that is this, is how you respond and react to situations that happen in your life. Whether it be how somebody does something to you on Facebook, or whether it be how you deal with situations in your relationships, in your life, everything, how you respond at work and deal with stuff, that's who you are. And when you begin to respond to situations the way this Bible tells you to respond to them, that's when you begin to see the blessings of this Bible happen in your life. Okay? And that's on that level. So let's continue on. And I'm going to show you, what I'm going to show you is how that basic breakdown of what I just showed you, how folks just come up with all these ways, or Satan just misleads and deceives people into not doing this particular act. And like I told you earlier, I'm going to show you how people avoid this self-examination and self-development. A lot of Hebrews avoid it with just book knowledge and Bible knowledge, and pointing out that, man, if you don't see it this way, then you wicked, you going to hell. You know what I'm saying? And then the Christians avoid it even more. They even more deceived by it, because they say, oh, don't even try. Don't even attempt to learn and memorize, you know. So through vain philosophy, they just screen themselves all the way out. All right. So let's see what I got here. So, and what it is, a lot of people, they kind of feel justified in their sin. You know what I'm saying? One of the other ones you hear them say is this is a big one. And I'm gonna show you the verses. Is they say, let go, let God, just let God do it. You know, you trying to, do it yourself and everything like that. Shalom, Shane Malone there. I see. So let's go into the scriptures though. Let's see what I got. Okay, so the first one I have is, boom, 2 Corinthians 13:5. And this is also one of the reasons why folks wrestle with Paul so hard, okay? Is they wrestle with Paul because they don't look at the big picture of what he's saying from in a humble way. So that's why you get a lot of folks wrestling with Paul, in weird ways, in all these different ways. All right, hold on one sec. All right, so let's 2 Corinthians 13:5, and reads, examine yourselves, whether ye be in the faith. It says, prove your own selves. Know ye not your own selves, how that Christ is in you, except ye be reprobates. But trust that ye shall know that we are not reprobates. It says, now I pray to God that you do no evil, not that we should appear approved, but that you should do that which is honest, though we be as reprobates. So he's saying, examine yourselves, self-examination. And I could go all through. Shalom, Malaka, Lorenzo. So I could go all through the word where it's pointing you to look at yourself, to perfect and analyze and try yourself. And like, once you see that, once you've gone through that process of finding something that's off in you and overcoming it, it puts the whole word in a different light. Like everything falls into place in the word. And it's like you see that thread running through everything. When you begin to look at the curses in Deuteronomy and how we're going to be restored as a nation, what it's saying is we're going to begin when the breath of life gets breathed into us. I'm coming off the Ezekiel dried bones prophecy and some of the stuff out of Jeremiah and Isaiah. It basically says in the end times, what's going to happen is, and what I'm saying here is what I would call short-term end-time prophecy, or a better way I say it is the next prophetic event in the prophetic timeline. So right now is what? October 2018, okay? And what's the next prophetic event that we're awaiting to happen in this prophetic timeline to us as a nation? Is we're in the early stages of that Ezekiel dried bones prophecy, where the bones are beginning to realize, hey, we're bones, and they're beginning to find their place in the body. But what don't you see? The sinews and the ligaments and all that have not begun to connect the bones. You see the camps calling out the non-camp Hebrews. You see the non-camp Hebrews calling out the camps. You see the non-camp Hebrews or the balanced Hebrews fighting against the balanced Hebrews. You know, there's separation and wrestling and shaking all among the bones, and they're trying to find their place on the body. And some of the bones are saying, no, you ain't even a bone of the body. You know, you ain't a bone, even though you can see they're a bone. And how you know they're a bone? Because they look like a bone. They in the same truth, reading the same word and all that. It's just different understandings, and folks don't know how to find their spot. So when you look at it, the thing that's really missing, hey, shalom, but Badeya, Poland, shalom. Yep, Sukkot, yep. We keeping it, we're observing it the first day today, yep. So shalom and Shabbat shalom. But yeah, so you see that wrestling, and it's still folks like all, and this isn't directed at anybody in particular. I'm hearing stuff from all over the place of separation happening and little groups coming together and separating, but something that's happening behind, but you know, real subtly that I'm also observing is brothers and sisters who are doing what I'm saying, perfection, getting themselves right. You know what I'm saying? There's a brother I've been talking to lately. I see, it occurred to me like this brother is really about perfection. I see where he's perfecting himself educationally. He has a thing of perfecting himself physically, a thing of perfecting himself biblically, and a thing of perfecting himself spiritually. And I was like, man, it's like, because I done slacked off physically, you know, but I'm getting back on the ball with that. But just that thing of self-improvement. And then you see some people that just kind of make excuses. And what I'm saying is you're beginning to see like-minded spiritual people begin to find each other and begin to come together and understand the importance of doing so. All right. So somebody put, I've been looking at prophecy as well, and I also feel inclined that it refers to us. People who were at once dead spiritually, but now the Father is breathing life into us. And that's right, Shane Malone. one of the things that I don't think people realize is, and something I like to point out, is when slavery was so-called abolished, back in the day, and we were let out of slavery, we weren't completely destroyed then. I know a lot of people say the post-traumatic slave syndrome. I'm going to bring out some truth on that. And this is, you can't get around what I'm getting ready to say on this, is when we got out of slavery, we still had work ethic. One of the first things newly freed slaves would do would be what? They would get married. They'd have large families. They had insane work ethic because what? They were slaves. And they knew. They were like, dude, if we don't do, what was it? 50 years after getting out of slavery, the literacy rate with it was like at some insane high. It was way higher than it is now. We were forming black colleges. This is 20 years, I think, after slavery. But we had formed black colleges and all that stuff. So we weren't destroyed then, okay? In the 1950s and all that, we weren't destroyed. We were going hard. We had our own businesses, our own economics. I have a little documentary I did where I showed how they had to keep throwing stuff in our way to keep destroying us, okay? They had to keep on doing things to hold us back. And they got more and more covert. One of the heavy blows that they hit us with was integration. That's when that sucked all the money out from us. And these people have think tanks where they get smart people and sit them down at the table to strategize this stuff. There's a verse on this. So integration, that was the first big blow. Sucked all the money out of the black neighborhood, ghettos and all that. The second big blow was what? They attacked the family. They broke the family up. They enticed the woman to kick the man out of the house. Since the man didn't have jobs in our neighborhoods anymore, in our nation, in our community, since it was harder for them to get a business or a job because all the business that got sucked out of it, they gave him an option to do criminal activity so that they could what? Put him back in prison. That was the second big blow when they attacked the family. The third big blow was the second wave of drugs, which was that crack. And then the third big blow was when they took our music and our culture and used it to destroy us here in our minds with hip hop and in our culture. They used our culture to completely wipe out any moral standard or anything. And here you are now where we are completely destroyed, but now life is beginning to come back in us, like Shane Malone said. Okay? We're still, yeah, and he said families were still together in the 60s, and in the 70s, yeah, and then crack and all that. Okay? And you go out there and you go walk through Harlem, and it looked like a zombie movie. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's like, can these bones live? It's like, he's like, oh, dude, what he's like, God, only you know. Because he's like, it don't look like it, but it's like, man. But what you see is, we beginning to wake up. And saying, I don't get caught up in, I don't get caught up in the whole, oh, what's that you claiming? You claiming ISUBK, you wicked, or you claiming this organization or this group of Hebrews, you evil, I can't rock with you. I don't, what they call, I ain't set banging or whatever you want to call it. Like, I don't got that mentality. Like, I get the most moderate or the most, I understand the most, what would you call it, type of Hebrews, not liberal, but kind of the least extreme Hebrews. I get them. I understand them. I don't hate what they're doing. You know what I'm saying? I'm not cutting them off. And I understand the most extreme Hebrews. I understand what they're doing. I understand. I see where they're beginning to get I see, and everything in between, I see where it's beginning to get perfected to be a part of the body. And folks will argue with me about that. They say, no, they ain't part of the body. You kidding? But they don't see. It's like, we'll take the camp, some of these camps. What a lot of our people don't understand is where the bulk of our people live are in poor black neighborhoods. And where our people get oppressed the hardest is in these poor black neighborhoods. I tell the story of how I was in New York City back in the 90s. And I was in the Bronx and I was in the subway. And I was drinking a 40 or whatever. And these cops came up to me. And these dudes, they tried to start a fight with me. They're like, what you doing down here with that? What you looking at me? You better look, and they were like some straight thugs. These white cops, straight thugs, telling me what they do to me if I didn't get rid of that bottle right then. They wanted me to have a bad attitude because they would have loved to kill me and take me down. And I was in the military at times, just up there visiting somebody, and I was like, yes, sir. I was like, what do you want me to do with it? Throw that junk in the garbage, boy. Talk and junk. But because I was wise, I knew. But what people don't realize is, like, and fast forward, then I went to New York and I stayed in the financial district, okay, which is a very upscale area. And I was coming out the hotel and there was a cop out there. And he came up to me like, hey, how you doing, pal? And I was like, hey, I'm doing good. And he was just as cool and as human as he could be. So what a lot of people don't realize is the reason why those people in the camp speak the way they do is because they're experiencing a different level of oppression that a lot of our people are totally unaware of. But a lot of people who grew up in suburbia or something like that, they're like, oh, they're embarrassing us. Why them camps talk like that? It's like, y'all don't get it. It's like people have a limited understanding of what's going on. I know why them people talking like that. And I just gave you an example of the cops that patrol black neighborhoods are a totally different beast from the cop that patrols your neighborhood. Like the cops that patrol your neighborhood are there to help you and are there to serve you and protect and serve you. The cops that patrol those black neighborhoods are an occupation force designed to oppress those people and just keep them destroyed and under bondage. And I could prove that. Brother Elijah is right. Brother Elijah will tell you first. I'm going to bring him on the show to tell you firsthand. Because he was a cop and he seen it and experienced it as a cop. And it led to him, coming into the truth. And he just put a comment in here. He said, everyone doing spiritual improvement instead of waiting on everyone else to line up. Coming together at the point is easy. Character development. Exactly. He's saying the same thing I was saying is like the key is character development. And like I said, Brother Elijah has seen firsthand, and anybody tell you, but a lot of people detest them people. A lot of our people, they look down on the people in the hood, don't reach out to them, are busy trying to kind of smooth up to these other nations and don't realize because I had to make white folks at my job. I had to tell them, I was like, look, man, I was like, that cop that comes in your neighborhood, wherever, you know, if you live in a good neighborhood, in a nice suburban neighborhood, he's there to serve you. He's your friend. He'll come over and talk to you and associate with you, and he ain't trying to do you wrong. He's there to help you out. You could talk to them. They're humans. But you got certain people who want to go in these black neighborhoods. The FBI released a report. This is the FBI. Released a report back in July. It was back in 2006. They released a report warning the Justice Department, whatever, that there was a huge influx of KKK members and these white supremacist organization members flooding into the justice system, into it, and they warned it. And you could Google it and look it up. There's a report out there where they were warning, hey, they're flooding into this. Then a couple of years later, when I guess these people got enough experience and got out on their own, you saw this huge jump in shootings and incidents and all that. They know that's the way to keep us suppressed. So then, then coming back to what I was saying, when you listen to some of these camps talk and what they're saying, they're speaking exactly to that. But you got a lot of people who are just in their little world, in their little reality, who don't get it. And so that it's a part of the body, and they serving a purpose. Okay, because you got in these camps, you got folks coming out of prison, folks who used to be drug dealers, folks who used to be murderers. Now they studying the word. You see what I'm saying? Now, albeit I don't agree with some of their doctrines and some of their breakdowns and stuff like that, but they are developing these people's character according to the word. You can't debate that because you see the fruits. Okay? Same thing with, you got Hebrew organizations all the way on the other side of the spectrum that are doing the work. They're winning people over out of these churches and stuff like that, which is something that is very tedious. It's a very tedious job to do, to win these people over out of these out of the churches, out of those beliefs that have been wired into their emotions, and they're doing the work. They're yielding fruit and everything else in between. But a lot of people got if you ain't like me, then you going to hell mindset. And that's because what? They people of low moral standard, low character, and they not doing this. They're not trying to perfect themselves. Okay? They're not trying to, and that's what's causing a lot of the division. Now look at this. See? Brother Elijah just confirmed what I said. He said every rookie cop wanted to go into the black neighborhoods because that's where the action was. And Brother Elijah was also telling me how in upscale neighborhoods and stuff like that, you weren't allowed to go in there and arrest nobody for anything. Like if you went in there and arrested somebody for something, I don't even think you get them to the police station and the police chief was calling down, telling you, hey, back off on that. Because they know people up high and they tied in, and you were told don't police them. They make all their money oppressing you, putting all these tickets on you. You done seen it. Everywhere there's been a riot, where Michael Brown got shot at, Missouri and all that. Like the Missouri Hebrews speak hardcore. Like they speak hard. And they tell you, man, these people are the devil. They crooked, and they see it. And I've got confirmation. Look, hey, man, when I was in the military, I had a white dude come out of the military base up there in Missouri tell me that it's extreme racism up there. He's like, it's bad. And he told me that. I've had multiple people tell me that came out of that area telling me how bad it is. And then it's like people act like these Hebrews are the enemy because they calling this thing out aggressively, but you don't understand what's going on. You know, it's like, so, you know, again, it comes back to that character development, developing patience, empathy, long-suffering, being willing to seek out some understanding, to give right judgment on a situation instead of jumping to conclusions. And the same thing with the Hebrews in these highly racist, highly oppressed areas. They have to develop this also. So there ain't no getting around character development. You know what I'm saying? There ain't no getting around it. All right. All right. So Brother Elias said, they would not be held accountable for aggression towards us. Okay. But couldn't do it in white neighborhoods. They knew they were heavily restricted to do stuff. Their hands were tied. They knew they'd get in trouble quick if they messed around in a white neighborhood. Okay. So yeah, man. But all that to say, going back to what I was saying, with what you see, a big thing you see out there in the Hebrew Israelite. All right. So Poland, he just typed in there, he said, it truly half of Missouri is bad. I live in an all-white area in Missouri in a small town. So I think you typoed, man. Put that, Brother Poland. So you say you live up there. Tell us how it is up there, man. Go ahead and put something in there. Because I think you might have mistyped on that. I didn't get what you were trying to say. All right. Brother Malak put, Lorenzo, he put, wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom, and with all your getting, get understanding. Exactly. Exactly, man. And, you know, that's lacking. Okay, so somebody put here, let me see something. Okay. Somebody wrote here, me and a friend of mine was talking about that. I'm from the Caribbean, so I watch a lot of you guys' videos, and we also understand that's why they speak so much hate. And this is the thing. They not when you look at these camps, they not speaking hate. They just speaking reality. Like they see the bad side. Okay? It's like folks are quick to say, oh, they speaking hate. No, these camps are speaking truth. They're telling you what's going on down there. They get locked up in these dungeons and see what happens. And now they have and folks, a lot of people are feminized, and when a man speaks in a masculine, aggressive tone, they're like, ooh, ooh, because they used to the cupcake and tulips doctrine. But again, where the brother said is, he said, wisdom is the principal thing. Therefore, get wisdom. And with all your getting, get understanding. That's what people don't do. They just look at these people yelling and talking aggressively, which is the way you can reach our soldiers in the streets. Like them dudes that grow up in these these black neighborhoods that are war zones by design, they're tough, man. These is like our soldiers. Like if we were a nation, they would have been the King Davids. That's why they keep these people oppressed so hard, because they know these are the most loyal, extreme, fearless people. That's why they keep those people in those real tough black neighborhoods crushed and oppressed hard. They know who they are. They know just one of them could come up and change everything. Jesus came out of oppressed, poor black neighborhood. They're like, you know what I'm saying? He came from a bad, a poor neighborhood. They know this. Look at the COINTELPRO stated goals. Look at the COINTELPRO stated goals. The second goal was to ensure there's not a rise of another black messiah. And what do, man? They done brainwashed us with Christianity, which is a passive, feminized, disarming religion. I just showed you where it said, perfectionism, and showing that it's a sin. They're almost trying to make it a sin to develop yourself and self-improve and seek perfection. They call it perfectionism. Where when you look at the word, I'm showing you with scriptures that you are to get your mind right and constantly seek to get your character developed and improved. All right. I see y'all put, yep, exactly, man. Brother Darren put it in, he worded it perfect. He said, they're the mouthpiece of the oppressed, our camp Hebrew brothers. They are the mouthpiece of what's going on in these ghettos, in these hoods. And why this Greco-Roman beast culture is such a deceptive snake beast is because they brainwash you into thinking that what they're saying is evil and wicked and hate. Brothers, y'all slow down and just get understanding on that. Because what you're going to find is these brothers is kicking out truth that's so hardcore that, always ask yourself, why are people so angry? Like, check this truth out. I would ask, why are these white supremacists so, like, what are they talking about? Why are they feeling oppressed? Like, and I was like, or like they're running everything. And then I went and I seeked understanding. And sure enough, come to find out, they know their numbers are dwindling. They don't reproduce like us. They know they're getting ready to be extinct if something doesn't change. And that's why they're pushing what they're pushing so hard. They know as bad as they whoop our heads, as bad as they kill us off, they know that we're like that Energizer bunny, man. And you know what? The harder you oppress us, the faster them kids come out. And they know this. That's why they just saturated the legal system. And they've said, hey, we put away our uniforms and we put on, they want them to stay low key. So you got to seek understanding. Why is this person so angry and turned up? What's going on there? Instead of saying, oh, they're yelling, they wicked. Yeah. So, all right, let me get to y'all's comments. Let's see. Me and am I was talking about that. I'm agreed. Tired of effeminate Christians. Yeah. And then you got to understand on the Christianity side that when you really study it out, like I did, it's an agenda to keep folks pacified. Because when you look at the Bible, it's not what Christianity make it look out to be. Like Christ ain't coming back to give cupcakes to faggots and stuff like that. He coming back killing. So it's not that whole thing that they make think, oh, duh, it's all good and fluffy. It's like, man, it's warfare and bloodshed through the whole book. And the Bible is perfectly against everything that this culture is about. So you gotta understand the brainwashing and the manipulation that folks that are in that are under, and how emotionally attached to it they are. And like I said, the people, because there's Hebrews that their calling is to deal with that. And that is a very tedious job that requires a lot of patience and long suffering. Okay? And it's just understanding that there's different parts of the body and while that part isn't totally in place on the body, understanding, having the wisdom to see, you know what I'm saying, what it is. Somebody put, I didn't know the extent of it till I saw the video of the Nike bait truck in Chicago. See? This brother bringing it out. Like, understand why them brothers is yelling out there. Like, they act like they're on the corner and they're on the corner, and they say the reason why they're on the corner like that and yelling, it says, cry aloud, spare not, lift up thy voice like a trumpet, and warn the people about what's going on and all that. And it's, I mean, look a little further than the surface and you'll see, like, some of the groups, like, for instance, ISUPK, when the dude come out of prison, if they want to join the thing, they give them counseling, you know, they give them a place to live, they give them a job, and they give them the book. And while I say, like I said, I don't agree with some of the doctrine, but they be getting brothers off these drugs, they be getting them out of this thing that was designed to destroy our people. Like, a lot of them brothers in the ISUPK would have been dead. And they know it. So it bothers me when I see people with, you know, man, y'all putting them in here. I'm gonna read these. So yeah, and all right. So it says we don't die, we multiply. That's why they came up with Black Panther, to give blacks the idea to kill each other. I mean, with that Black Panther thing, that's, you know, or to give us some false hope or something. You could go into a lot. But the thing I do know is Killmonger was the hero in that thing, you know. So let me read y'all writing. I get you are referring to, okay. Somebody else, but I used to live, hold on. I used to live there for 8 years. The police mentality is worse there. They pulled my son over just for walking. Okay. And this brother's talking about up there, I think in Missouri. Observation is the greatest tool in understanding any life form. Exactly. Praise Yah, he kept us safe and not much hate shown. All right. Brother Derrick put mouthpiece of the oppressed, our camp. Yep. Can't deal with those hate camps. All right. Poland, go ahead and elaborate on that. Because, I mean, it said you will know them by their fruit, okay? That's what the book says. So what I see when I look at the camps, a lot of people, they're out there yelling, but what I look at is they're going in prisons, ministering to people there. They're getting people off drugs. They're getting brothers from selling drugs and killing each other. They're getting them off the street. They're teaching them this word. These brothers are having families and stuff like that. So when I look at their fruit, they're yielding fruit. Okay? All them brothers that's out there selling the drugs, the brothers that's out there selling drugs, the brothers that's out there on drugs, the brothers that's out there doing all the wickedness, they're all Christians. They all say, hey, God forgives me. Okay? So pull back and just look at actions. You can't dispute actions. There ain't no getting around that. All right, so let's put I get you are referring to the strength and no fear of the camps, but the twisted doctrine of all white people being killed and raping women is wicked. All right, and Brother Elijah, I'll tell you, like, I agree with you on that, because there's there's one particular camp that I've seen some things to almost with 90% of surety, with almost 90% certainty to say that, yo, this camp is funded by the government somehow. Because what Brother Elijah just said there about the raping the women and all that stuff, what Brother Elijah said there is, and I say almost 100% of the crazy stuff that I hear people say about camps comes from one camp. From one camp. That's where all the crazy stuff comes from. And that camp don't do what I said. They're not getting people off drugs. They're not giving folks a place to live and all that stuff like that. It's that one camp. But that's where all the footage and the bad publicity comes from. Okay? The balance of not forgetting Obadiah in the scriptures, which speaks of our enemies, is a must. But balance it out with being a holy, set apart people with perfect judgment. And again, you're right. And like I said, it comes to what's going to really unify us and really bring us together is what? Character development, biblical morals, getting our minds right, whatever terminology you need to do it. And as far as the camps, you don't see the camps out there killing people. The camps aren't shooting people. You know what I'm saying? The people that out there shooting people are Christians. They're Muslims. Like, that's the religion they identify with. So again, you got to look at the fruit. Just because you out there saying, hey, because you such a hurt person that you gonna be out there saying, yeah, in the kingdom, I'm gonna be raping you, I'm gonna be killing y'all women. But the thing is, they raped our women. They killed our people. Like, they did it. And they didn't yell about it. They did it and do it. Okay? Them brothers just out there talking because they angry. And they don't have the proper character development to know how to righteously direct their anger. All right. Funny, Brother Dermick put, funny, no violence from ox. Their mouth is like a two-edged sword for the workers of iniquity. The spirit behind our captive state being exposed. Exactly. Note, condoning kissing boots. Yeah, I don't agree with that. Like, we not in the kingdom. Like, you might end up having a Hebrew kiss your boot and you a heathen. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, I don't rock with that. Condoning, respect the trumpet. All right. Always an agenda to divide us. Yeah, those days are almost over. See, and there's still divisions happening. Why? Because people aren't like what I do. I build with people who have high moral character. Because if you build with people with low moral character, they pull in stuff to set boundaries that is not biblical. Like, if you're setting your boundaries with people based on doctrine, it's going to be a mess. But when you set your boundaries with people based on moral character, which the Bible tells you to, the Bible tells you to don't be messing with folks of low moral character. It tells you that. It doesn't say don't mess with folks who don't have a breakdown on this or this, that, and the other. It don't tell you that. It says if a person has low moral character, don't rock with them. And I'm just saying that in my own words real fast. But all I see is no love. I've seen 3 at least. But that the I am a sister. Okay. Our own is killing each. People aren't fully awake, bro. Our own is killing each. All I see is, yeah, and like I said, and that's why that's all. For 90% of what I harp on here is character development and relationships, because we ain't gonna come together as a nation. Let me make it even more basic. We can't even come together. You can't even come together with your own self. You're gonna be conflicted in yourself if we don't practice self-examination, get our minds right. Like, you got people who are just wrestling and fighting with themselves and can't even maintain a relationship because they gotta develop their moral character. Okay? So, I mean, it is what it is. So, let alone be in a relationship, because then you see the relationships among Israel, among our people, they're a disaster. In the Hebrew Israelite community, the relationships are a disaster. Okay? And then, let alone you're going to come together as a congregation, let alone as a nation. Nah. The first brick is establishing is getting your mind right. Let's see, y'all put a lot of comments in there. I gotta stay on y'all on YouTube too. All right, let's read some of these comments. Always okay. Each other. My keys jump. I don't know what that. All right, it said, Brother Yeshua put, somebody planted a bad seed within the camps, whether it was white supremacists or black white supremacists, but the end goal is to demonize the whole movement, to have justification to attack the movement as a whole. Well, that's Satan. That's Satan. And again, with character development, getting your mind right, and in doing that, you'll be able to deal with stuff using wisdom. It trumps that. Like, Satan can't get in there. You know what I'm saying? And to say that white supremacists planted a seed in the camps, no, I say Satan plants seeds in the camps, but he plants seeds in us as a nation, because it ain't just the camps that's a mess. It's all through Israel. Okay? Okay, y'all got a lot here. All right. So let's see. Agreed. We die. We don't die. Okay, I see. That's why it says street camps are into trickery. That's why they are protected under government 501c3. So we must remain guarded up spiritually. The real Black Panther movement had an honorable beginning. Then COINTELPRO happened. And check this out. You want to know, with the real Black Panther movement, you want to know what made the government take action on them? It wasn't the gun thing. That is not what made the government take action on the Black Panther. The thing that scared the government about the Black Panther Party was when they started providing school lunches and medical care for our people. That's what made them flip out. And that's when they sent in the CIA to destroy them. Okay, to undermine them. Okay, but again, the Black Panther movement did not have a standard like what we have. We got the word of God to where somebody doing something, you could just look in the book and say, okay, what you doing off? Like, that's off. Like, a boot kiss is off. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could see what groups and people are doing that's off. And we are to be held to that standard. So, all right. I want to see 3. But the Most High also put that in good documentary on YouTube called Black Panthers Vanguard of a Revolution. Exactly. Be ye mindful still. Credit is due to some camps for waking people up to who we are, but will have to say some camps don't teach with the Ruach and are killing spirituality when they put hate in their hearts of other brews. Exactly. Yeah. And again, that comes to with that focus on character development. And like the brother posted in there, of these things, seek understanding. And not just to the camps, but it's all through Israel. All you gotta do, look, go on Facebook and you see folks just like wasting huge chunks of time, getting emotional, typing comments and typing all this stuff, getting worked up, causing division, debating and arguing over stuff that's petty and trivial. When I can teach, like, there's certain doctrinal things that are trivial that you go on and on back and forth about, okay? But when you come together based on like-mindedness, on a like-minded person who has the same spirit of you, the spirit of perfection, and and a spirit of being a humble spirit, willing to do self-examination, it's funny because this isn't an issue. But then you could take 2 people who don't have self-examination, who aren't doing the inner work, and they could almost be perfectly aligned doctrinally. And y'all know, some of y'all watching right now know that y'all seen people like this where they're 99% in doctrinal agreement with each other, okay? And they split up over the 1% of the doctrine where they don't agree. Why? Because they ain't got their minds right. So that's the key. Okay, that's the key. All right, credit due. All right. So Brother Elijah put, I think the brothers is correct. They have identified all of Hebrew Israelites as black identity extremists, groups, terrorists, to justify to white Americans' future plans to exterminate many. But that's book. Like, they're gonna try all types of stuff, but what does the word say? And I'm like, truth be told, man, with the stuff I went through, with the stuff I see now, and with the passion out to help our brothers and sisters, I'm ready to die. Like, I'm all for it. I'm like, I got like a King David prophet mindset where, hey, it is what it is. Bring it. I don't care what these people do. The thing that would hurt the most would be going back to it. That would hurt the most. That's But yeah, let's see. All right. So let's go to another scripture real quick. Seeing the crowd. So look at this. All right. Let me pull up a scripture. I'm gonna pull up something that I read yesterday, but I want to show y'all what I'm talking about. Okay. All right. All right. So let's see. Bam. All right. Oxen. All right, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna pull this scripture up. All right. Okay. Trying to find this. All right, there we go. Oh. Anyway, in the verse on I'm gonna find this thing. If y'all got any questions, definitely put them in there. Okay, I got it. I got it. There we are. It always pulls up Bible Hub, and I don't like Bible Hub. It's hard to navigate through. So in Matthew 23, he talks about that they are likened unto whited sepulchres, and he talks to the Pharisees, and he tells them about. He says, "You clean the outside of the cup, but you leave the inside dirty." So he's saying you're doing all this doctrinal outside stuff, but like righteous judging, so seeing things correctly according to the word of the Most High, and instead of looking at it from the surface and just getting your mind right, he said, we don't do that. And look at what he says in verse 25. I mean, in verse 26 right here. It says, "Thou blind Pharisees," he said, "cleanse first that which is within the cup and platter, that the outside of them may be clean also." So he's saying, instead of getting caught up in doctrine, first get your mind right, okay? Then you're gonna then do the external doctrinal, this, that, and the other stuff, because he called it. Look what he called what getting your mind right is. Hold on, I'm gonna get it up here for you. Oops. I don't know why that was weird. Okay, let me fix that. Okay. Now look at this. Watch this. Okay. Control. Yeah. All right. It said, he put here, "Woe unto you, scribes and he says, "Woe unto you, scribes and Pharisees, hypocrites, for ye put tithe of mint and anise and cumin, and have omitted the weightier matters of the law, which are judgment, mercy, and faith. These ought ye to have done, and not to leave the others undone. Okay? And then he goes on to say, to first you get your mind right. You cleanse the inside, your spirit. You get that right. And just thinking about it, say you got a rag, a soapy rag that you're going to clean the cup with. You should clean the inside of the cup and get all the dirt out of the inside of the cup and then clean the outside, because it's more important the inside be nice and clean. Instead of dirtying the rag up with the outside and then clean the inside and bringing more dirt in there. It just is that simple. And then when you do that, it'll help. Your judgment will be clear. It won't be influenced by anything, and you'll be able to see stuff for what it really is. And then kind of going back to what we've been talking about, I already said to you, I'm not in a camp because I don't agree with a lot of stuff they do, but I can see with righteous judgment the stuff that they are doing. That's right. Same thing with a lot of other, everything in between that. There's a lot of folks off, and they causing division because they got a dirty inner cup. So when you bring that into this Hebrew walk, it just causes a lot of division and dividing. And we don't need to be doing that type of math. We need to be multiplying, not dividing. Okay? All right. So let me get your comments. I got them. I see y'all in there. Credit is due to some camps for waking people up to who we are. Okay, I already read that. That's so true. It happens to me with a friend. We agreed on everything except one thing, and that made us stop talking. So true. Yeah. The brother I was talking about earlier, to where I saw where he was doing a lot of work on himself and all that, I don't even know what he agreed with. Look, there's a brother in the ISUPK. I go over his house. I'll do, if he needs his car fixed, I'll help him with that. If I need something, he helped me out. We don't even get into the doctrine like that. I give counseling to people in some of the other camps, in IUIC, give them relationship counseling and stuff like that. All right. Let's see. Credit is due. Let's see. The comment somebody put the comment you just read. I see this also may take place because the camps that preach hard against the white man will cause the whites to rise up in the future and see us as terrorists. But this is the thing. They already see us as terrorists or treat us worse than terrorists. Because you've had terrorists out there that they've caught with guns in their hands and they didn't shoot them. Like they want to kill you because the Most High these other nations just want to kill you because of who you are. They got a spirit. If these other nations, if their people stay under their nation's influence, their nation's culture, they already don't like you anyway. Now, if you watch the Vice TV, watch that Gorilla Mainframe. And that brother hard now, don't get it twisted, but they call themselves Gorilla Mainframe. They not in the truth, but they kind of mirror themselves after Black Panthers. They try to go around protesting. They got guns. They talking all this stuff like they preparing for a war. The CIA infiltrated them. Okay? I'm not, I could really, what you just said, I could really go into that real far and show you without a shadow of a doubt that a lot of these big camps, these main camps, they keep the laws of this nation better than any Hebrew organization that's not a camp that I've ever known. But people don't see that. Like they abide by the laws when it comes to teaching on the street and all that stuff. But people, again, right judgment, looking into a matter, really digging in, and not arriving at a emotional judgment on them. And I'm not advocating them. I'm not somebody who's for them. I'm not saying, hey, go join them and all that. But what I'm saying is, it's not all that it appears on the surface, because they would have taken a lot of these groups out. They would have straight up taken them down a long time ago if they were, you know, what they were. But I understand what you're saying. The comment make me think of Ecclesiasticus 9:24. Hey, somebody post what that is. Ecclesiasticus or Sirach 19:24. Post what that is. Oh, you did post it. I'm sorry. He that hath small understanding and feareth God is better than one that hath much wisdom and transgresseth the law of the Most High. All right. I definitely have small understanding. I am no one's judge. Okay. And okay. Michael, shalom, brother Michael, and all. Gotta get ready for work. Speaking of getting the body right, I'm up early to get a workout, and so my 42-year-old body does not. Me too, man. I'm gonna do that after I'm done with this. That's why spiritual discernment, enlightenment daily is needed. Exactly. We have to use spiritual discernment. When Yah reveals us to a world, all division amongst us will go away, and that will bring us all together like never before. Yeah, but it says the way we're going to be revealed to the world is the world's going to see his spirit upon us. They're going to see us walking in brotherhood. I think that's in Jeremiah. People check out racewarmovies.com and get your tickets. New York, October 3rd. All right. Well, let me write that down. See what that is. Race War movies.com. Yeah, I'll check it out. See what that is. All right. Elijah put, they would appear to be closer to Torah than teaching you still a Christian and his laws are optional. Yeah. But it's like Satan uses deception. He uses anything to deceive you. So it's like I've seen people, you know, and I'm not saying it's bad to learn the Hebrew, but I see folks using the Hebrew and they're using this. And like I said, Judas had a complete total understanding of all this. He walked with Christ. He had this thing learned more than anybody out here today. He had this Bible understood according to Christ's teachings and all that. And he went off. He was off. So it's not about having some deep biblical understanding and all that. What we need to be, what Christ and the Most High want us to do is very basic to where a 7-year-old can understand it. That's why, I mean, it's very simple, but what's hard, what the hard level 20 type thing is that keeps everybody all jacked up is the discomfort and pain of humbling down and looking at yourself. And that's why all this crazy, that's why you got all the stuff you got going on right now, all the craziness. Because folks aren't humble. They're not humble enough to go through the pain and practice self-observation. So, all right, let's see. People check out racewarsmovies.com. Okay, so somebody posted it over here too. All right. They are organized and well trained. Yeah. But I mean, and that's good. But so is Gorilla Mainframe. They're organized and well trained. But if your mind ain't right and you're not using wisdom, you saw what happened to them in that Vice, that little Vice news series they did about them. It's Vice and it's Black Identity Extremists. Watch it. It's about 19 minutes long, 20 minutes long. And watch what happened. When you're not doing this stuff according to wisdom, he got locked up. They messed his life up there for a little bit. He lost his job and all that. True love. No fear here. I just know the snake well. Brother Liaput, I think the brothers is correct. They have identified all of Hebrew Israelites as black identity extremists, groups, terrorists, to justify white. Yeah, exactly. And if it wasn't that, it'd be something else. All right, Brother Yashar put, I think you meant my issue I have with the camps is the 12 tribe chart, and now they have a Latino and Native movement saying that they are the only Israelites and we are the Canaanite slaves serving out our, wow, my goodness. But again, it's like, I don't even get caught up in that. And that 12 tribe chart, the time for it is ticking. Because, like I said, once these documentaries start coming out, once Ron Dalton will smash that 12 tribe chart to pieces. We're getting ready to have brothers and sisters who are going to be going to Africa to talk to these tribe chiefs who have untainted oral knowledge going back hundreds of years, way before slavery. So all that stuff's getting ready to get crushed. And like I said, that's some of the issues I have with the camps is what's going to happen. We're going to talk to these tribal chiefs. This ain't something that a person who's in One West, he got this revelation, and then the dude started calling himself King David, and it was a breakup. And he was proven to be a false prophet on a prophecy, and they're sticking to his rendition of 12 tribe charts. That stuff ain't gonna fly. That junk getting ready to get crushed this year or next, to where they're gonna kind of tuck that thing away behind them and not be pushing it. That 12 tribe chart is easy though. You know what I'm saying? That's easy. Remove Michael, remove the you said Michael, remove this in race war. Okay, so yeah, well, I'm gonna check that out. I'm working on but at the end of the day, the solution is self-development. You know what I'm saying? That's the key to this thing, you know? But yeah, what time is it? Yeah, with that said, that's an hour and 30 minutes. So with that said, if y'all don't have any other questions, you know, I'm gonna begin wrapping this up. I'm gonna take y'all out with the music, of course. And appreciate y'all tuning in. Look forward, if y'all going to Sukkot down there in the land, look forward to seeing y'all. Definitely come up to me and say, hey, how you doing? And holler at me. Look forward to meeting any of y'all that's gonna be down there. And with that said, shalom, y'all.
We gon' rise up, rise up. We rise up. If you come against the king, man, we gon' rise up. If you come against our Elohim, we gon' rise up. It don't matter, anybody get it, man. We gon' rise up, we rise up. Rise up, and rise up.
Oh me, oh my. Atheist tweet, no MG. Life came to a standstill, it done got real with them prophecies. Every time we done pass go, monopolize the monopoly. You give us 200, take 300, charge us for the property. Y'all gave us this authority. To be honest, got it honestly. Which means we are joint heirs. Zombies twins on a trampoline. We speak what he wrote. Melania's speech, Michelle's notes. Israel hit the ground running.